All right, we're live now.
All right.
Alrighty.
Well, we're here, guys. You all know it. We're here with the legend of the season, Miss Janaki. We got the other big shooter, Mr. Robb, and
What's up,
then,
guys?
of course, I don't need an introduction. You guys all know who I am at this point. But yeah, guys, you guys crushed us with all these questions, so this might even turn into a two-parter. We're not quite sure yet, but we have well over 50 questions to get into. We're going to get into depth into most of it. We're going to try and keep it spoiler-free to the best of our abilities. If it does, we'll edit it out anyway, so we'll never know. So, but yeah, keep tuned to the end, though, for anyone who's playing next season. Got a little sneak peek of something that's going to be on that next season. So stay tuned to the end. We'll talk about that a little later on. But we're just going to crack on into it here, and we're going to go for it. So do you guys know that why there were only 6 donuts at that last challenge?
I in fact do know why there's only 6 donuts at the last challenge. My roommate Nick Madsen, hey Nick, I'm sure you're gonna be watching this later, and hopefully I'm watching it with you. Actually, got a little hungry and ate one of the donuts in the Ponderosa trailer, not knowing that those donuts were actually a reward for us.
Well, brilliantly played off by production. Yeah.
Hey, Brian didn't get to eat anyway, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Which would have been funny because, like, yeah, Brian said he didn't want it because he couldn't have it. They had some kind of diabetic thing or like dietary thing, so it would have been a donut that we had to split between us regardless. So it's kind of played out pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, it's still hilarious and fun to talk crap to Madsen about.
Yeah.
Everyone, make sure you chirp Madsen when you see him.
So the biggest question that we've had from the last challenge, Miss Janaki, did something happen specifically to you at the last challenge?
Yes, it did. I gave a full peep show to like everybody. I don't know if you guys noticed what had happened because you guys were behind me.
Yeah, we were behind. Unfortunately, Janaki, we missed the show.
I'm sorry, guys. But it happened when I slid down, and when I stood up, they were like both hanging out, and like Hunter had to like hold the camera like straight up so he didn't get it or whatever. And then I ended up falling, and then that's when they cut into the challenge, was me finally trying to throw because I was slipping and falling and I couldn't get them back in my swimsuit.
That challenge was a lot of fun, but I will never forget how much that hurt my eyes going through.
Oh, yes. There was you remember how soap
eyes were?
Yeah. Oh. So, yeah, for people that don't know, we're out. It was a nice hot day out, so we all were like excited, like it's gonna be refreshing, it's gonna be awesome. We're all like, woo, let's get into it. So we're all taking off full speed. We're diving into this because like let's just get refreshed. And they use dish soap, I think, is what they use instead of like baby or whatever they're supposed to. So we all dove headfirst into their slip and slide, and all of us come up blind. Like we have no idea what's going on. So that's why a lot of like you see the footage of everyone missing most of these like tosses because we can't see where it's going.
Yeah, and as you saw, Josh and I were the first people to go, the test dummies. So I got like the front end of it, and I was behind for an hour or 2 hours ago. Like,
yeah, your eyes were so red. I just remember looking at you. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it was bad.
But Charlie, I mean, you went up and you just like tossed your ring in, and you made it look so easy.
Yeah,
cakewalk.
I've done
walked all over Danny. Danny's like, I didn't even get to touch the ring yet. I'm like, no. I mean, we smoked that challenge, and we were so excited getting back to camp. Like, let's eat our donuts. Let's go have some fun. Say bye to Stephanie because, again, at that point, we all thought Stephanie was 100% gone.
Oh, we were convinced Stephanie was gone. It was a no-brainer.
Oh gosh,
like
she surprises me. She surprises me every time.
Yeah, shout out Stephanie for fighting from the bottom, but
good Lord, right?
Red guys for screwing each other.
So that kind of ties into another question that was asked here. What is it like seeing the tribals you didn't attend?
So like kind of cool. This last tribal, this last tribal was one that I was really interested in seeing because like before the swap, like our red tribe was talking, like we're staying strong, and like we had so much fun together. Like it just like didn't cross my mind that any of us were gonna betray each other, and all our vote outs were unanimous. And yeah, we honestly were like a fan. So to like have that happen where Dan, it was like really shocking for me personally to see, because I felt really Josh and I were really tight, and then I felt really tight with Maris, so it was really shocking to see that start to develop with her and Katie and Caitlin forming a bond. And I texted Danny. I felt really bad for Danny. I would have loved to meet back up with Danny in the game.
Did Danny talk a lot of game with you in the first part of the half? Because like we haven't really seen anything like in the confessionals or strategy from him. So can you give some like backstory if like you had side deals with him, anything you worked with?
He didn't really talk a lot of game. More so just like it was more so just like personal. Like you just like he just has those vibes where like you can trust Danny. He's like a super nice dude, loyal and everything. I never caught him lie or anything like that. I just knew he was a trustworthy guy, and I wasn't willing to betray him for that.
Gotcha. I mean, he never lost that smile off his face, even during the like. You saw the blind sides come out. It's just this giant grin on his face.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what is?
Danny is definitely someone that I wanted to play with because I just got really good vibes off of him from just like day one. Just this smiley, happy guy. So yeah, it kind of stinks that like he had to go, but yeah, I think it's interesting seeing other tribes go that you're not a part of, because it really puts together the pieces of the story that we're all trying to tell. It's just interesting, when you're not part of those conversations and then you see them come out. It's interesting to see how that kind of all plays.
Yeah,
so I enjoy it.
I was super impressed that like the early game with the Mille Lacs tribe, they came out swinging first because like Calhoun's first vote, everyone knew Karen was kind of going home. She fell on her sword for us. Jordan's bit, I'm out. Like we're all like kind of like just getting to know each other. Like
yeah, our tribes was just easy. I love Karen to death. Karen, if you see this, I love you to death. But it was easy. Even said like I'm kind of cool with it, like Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, like relax, like they're already scheming, talking to each other. Idols found on the first night, like right away. And like ours wasn't found, so basically we almost swapped.
Yeah.
Josh, they didn't show this in footage, but Josh, Maris, and I took like until I think it was like an hour or something before we did the swap and went to Exile Island that we found that idol. Like right.
Didn't someone kick it?
Swap. What's that?
Did someone kick the idol? Did like Maris kick it with their foot and then Josh got it?
No, we had to go like deep in the woods.
Okay.
The three of us were like, we were like thinking that a swap was coming, and we're like,
yeah,
in case of a swap coming, like we want to get this idol.
Right. Yeah.
And then someone asked how many idols were hidden. I believe it's only 4, right? At this point, there's only 4. It was one at each camp and then Exile.
Yeah.
Right.
And you'll have to stay tuned to see if there's some more.
Yeah.
So kind of turning into what we just talked about impression-wise. Also, who out of the cast would you give your first impression rose to? From like right at the social, if you said like this person 100%, if you could be like, yeah, you.
Mine was no brainer. Mine was Paula, 100%. Right when I met Paula, I was like, I really want to be on this ladies tribe. Like she's just like, you could just tell she has a heart of gold. You could trust her. Like I was willing to go 100% in with Paula, and that stays true like after the game too. I love Paula to death, so mine's easy. Mine's Paula for sure.
Dude, I'm gonna piggytail on that too, because like she said in the episode too, because I bonded with her immediately at the social. We sat in the same corner for most of it, and like I was like, absolutely, I want to work with this lady. She's humble, she's cool. Like you could tell that she's not gonna be the type that's gonna go around your back and sneak it to you. If she had to do that, she would tell you beforehand anyway, so you could be prepped if you needed to. I was like, this woman's just an absolute champion for being out here in first place. I was like, okay, absolutely. So then when I got to be on a tribe with her, I was like, yes, let's do this. And then yeah.
I would have to also say Paula, because before we even had that social, though, they tell us, you guys are not supposed to talk to each other. Don't talk to each other. But she actually approached me first, and I just remember her just being the sweetest, just absolutely just down to earth and just the kindest person. And I just gravitated to her right away. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I really want to be on a tribe with her, because she is someone that I can easily just communicate with and just get along with. And, it was luck of the draw. We got good old Paula.
At that social too, I had really good conversations with Sandy. I felt like I really bonded with Sandy, and Josh as well. And that I was really excited. It was a no-brainer for me to be able to, after the social, link up and align with Josh.
Well, fun side note, I had some great conversations with Jordan at the social. Like, she was like a little back from it, but if you approach and start talking to her, I'm like, oh, this girl's awesome. She's funny. I'm like, I can wing things off her. She's throwing it back at me. I'm like, cool. And then right when tribes were picked, that whole gear flipped. I was like, oh no.
For those of you viewers that don't know, the social that we're talking about was we what did we eat? I don't even remember. Was it like sandwiches or
like Jimmy John, something like that?
Jimmy John sandwiches. Yeah.
Like right before we started the game, we all had Jimmy Johns, and we're given like how long were we given?
Well, probably about a half hour, I think. It wasn't
half hour. Kind of. At least the smart people did musical chairs and introduced themselves. I tried to make sure I talked to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're stagnant there, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, there was a couple people, I don't remember specifically who, that were kind of sitting still. It's like, what are you doing?
Like, well, and I know, like with you, Rob, like I knew you prior because we had volunteered together.
Yeah.
So I knew that I didn't need to have a conversation with you at that point, because it kind of would have been a waste of time in a way, because it's like, it would be like, hey, I'm Rob. Hey, I'm Janaki. Like, we already know that, what do you do? So I really kind of stayed away from your end of the table, because, I was using that opportunity to kind of really get to know everyone else. Cause I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things.
The exact same way.
Yeah. So it's like, why, use that time to utilize other people, because you already have that kind of like security in a way, like in the back of your mind, like, we're good.
Yeah.
So
also, a little side note for any contestants that are playing next season, do not be the person that initiates what is your spirit animal, because 2 seasons in a row, the person that's done that has completely gone home first. So word the wise, don't like.
Who did the spirit animal?
Rachel.
Oh, did she? Oh, that Who did the spirit animal the season before?
The one girl who went home. I'm sorry, I forgot her name.
Oh, yeah.
Long hair.
I can't think of her name either.
Super nice, but quiet a little bit. I don't remember. All right, let's get to some other stuff. Actually, kind of on that, we do have a question. What piece of advice would you give the next season of contestants?
Okay, so you're playing the game Survivor, but you're also playing for a charity event. So the first part of it, think of your charity. But the second the game starts, play Survivor. Just play the game. Go balls to the wall. Just go in and play hard. Your charity is going to be okay that you're coming in and playing a game. You're going to maybe say some things. You're maybe going to do some things that might be against like who you are as a person, but you are playing a game and you're playing for a great cause. So you want to do whatever it takes to get to the end. So think your charities first, but once the game is actually starting and going, just give it your all. And you think about your charity later on, because you want to be able to experience the game Survivor. You want to play the hardest you can, because you don't want to walk away from that experience being like, I should have done this. I should have done this. I should have said this. You want to leave knowing that you played the hardest that you could play, is what I can say about that.
Yeah, and I probably piggyback off that as well. Like, it's for charity, and I think Brandon like emphasizes this like big time as well. It's for charity, but at the same time, like the charity aspect is before, and then the charity aspect is after, and the game and that weekend is Survivor, and it's like competition. I'm like the most competitive person there is, so just go out there and play the game. We all three love the game. Just go out there and play it. And I think that for me, going in is something that was tough for me just because of like the circumstances that I had coming into the game, like emotion. My buddy passed a few days prior, so I think if given like a future chance, I would definitely leave like those emotional walls up. That was, you guys saw, super emotional weekend with the situation with my buddy passing before the event. So just leave those emotional walls up and play the game and have fun. Have fun.
Have fun. Definitely have fun.
Yeah, I mean, like the biggest part, like you said, it's all for charity and like the end result. Like, but my biggest thing is work your tail off on getting those donations in, because Rob knows how much that probably helped him. A lot of other like Paula, Caitlin, sitting pretty till the merge. They know they're fine.
Yeah, tell them about how close you were to me.
So I was
in the first episode. Probably not.
No, we didn't. I don't think they did the rankings in, but like I ended up being, I think like almost like $55 less than Rob, something insanely close. And I was like, so I'm like right there.
Corey was right there with you too.
Yeah, it was like there was. I think
right for second place.
Yeah, so I mean it was insane.
Like, yeah.
So my biggest thing I say for anyone that's trying to play or like future players, don't sleep on the donations and fundraising, because as much as it is time consuming, you're constantly like posting and stuff, and it sounds like you're just like annoying your friends or whatever. Continue to do it, because when it gets to that last like month or so, everybody's all in because they're freaking out, and then all of a sudden all this cash flow comes in, which is great. And like I said, it's all for charity. We're happy. But once that's done, if you find out you got your advantage, awesome. If not, play the game. That's all. Like we said, all three of us said it. You got to play, because it's over before you know it, and you're looking back and you're thinking, what if, instead of like, and then that's the worst feeling ever, because like similar to the show, you never know if you're going to get another opportunity to do this again. So like it's one of those, it's a one and done opportunity. Not everyone gets to do it. We are cast. There are people that don't get cast. So also think about that. Like just do your best, do as much as you can. But like I said, try and push yourself to the most part. Personal opinion, trying to be entertaining if you can, but if not, I get it. But like, just leave no doubt is the biggest thing I could say, because like the worst thing you can do about is you got voted out and you're looking back, and the first thing you think about, I should have said this, I should have done that, should have approached so and so. Just if you think it, just do it, because it's better off that way.
Yeah, follow your guts. The big thing. So something different between Rob and Charlie is, so I didn't actually get the advantage at the beginning. So for me, coming in not raising at least $1,000, I was more of at a disadvantage. So I know what it's like to be on the opposite end of the spectrum, where they had a safety, for so many votes, or they got an advantage. I had to work my tail off to where we are right now in the season. And so I've had to work. And it's not that fun. But it's the game of Survivor. It sucks. It makes you go stir crazy. But as far as the importance of the donations, you want to have at least that type of security, because it will help you in the long run. Otherwise, you are gonna drive yourself nuts, because you're gonna have to really, really, really work. And if I ever get that opportunity again to play a second time, I'm gonna go even harder at getting those donations, because it really does truly make a difference in the game. So
yeah, as far as donations goes, like that advantage thing, we didn't know. Did we know what it was specifically? I can't remember.
I went off that like it was the same as last year, so that's why
that's how I treated it too. And that's like what I was gonna say is like some people like looked at it as it was almost unfair, but for me personally, someone who got it, like when that was announced to us when we were casted, I treated it like the game had already started, and like the game, like I'm hitting the ground running, like I'm so competitive, like the game started, like this is an advantage and I want it, and that's how I treated it. And thankfully, I got
it. 100% I agree with you there, Rob, because like one of the things that I was thinking about, if I were to hit one of those goals and end up finding myself at the end talking to a jury and then being like, well, you raise this advantage, and then all of a sudden like you got to coast for the first half of the game, whatever. My thing would be like, again, I started playing right here. There's a reason why I'm here, because I raised all this money.
That was going to be my thing too. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm right there with you on that one. But Jay, you kind of touched base on this. Someone did ask, how did you get so far in the game to this point? Like, why you? How? How's that hat?
Thank you. Looks like someone is not happy with my gameplay. Hey, haters are gonna hate. You know, if you're a player that's gonna make moves and follow through with them, people are gonna love it, but people are also gonna hate it. So maybe that's where this is coming from. But shout out to whoever asked that question. It was definitely a lot of strategic stuff because it's just those conversations that you have with people. You know, and we're still before the merge. So I mean, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And you just have to go with your gut. You have to trust your instincts. If you think in your mind that you want to make a big move, do it, because that's your instincts telling you this is the time to do it. You know, like with our Daniel blindside, I remember that night because we had that challenge that was so late. We were all stir crazy, and it was like 4 a.m. and here I'm trying to do a confessional, being like, are we gonna do this? And like, I mean, it's crazy. But if your mind is telling you to do it in the moment, just do it. Follow through with it, because if you don't do it, you may not get that opportunity to make a big move. So when you have an opportunity to make a big move, you do it. And that's what I did. You know, just following my gut, trusting the conversations that I was having, and it. You know, we had some pretty good blindsides so far. It's been a fun season so far.
I mean, if anyone could guess who goes home on any of these episodes, they're telekinesis excited. Like it, I don't know how you can see it coming. So
it only gets better, you guys.
It really does. And you know, really props to the editing team, because I mean, they do such an amazing job. I mean, I've had people make comments being like, how many days are you really out there? I mean, they really make it seem like we've been out there for days, and really,
yeah,
it's only friends Saturday.
What? Like
But yeah, I've had to really just have a lot of conversations with people, and a lot of conversations really with myself. There's been a lot of times where I'm talking to myself being like, do I do this move now? Do I go with this group? You know, kind of that stuff. So just playing a really hard social game is how I've gotten to where I'm at.
Which kind of is hard to kind of like have some self-reflection in that time, because looking back at it, I was trying to figure out when I actually talked to myself and like was like walking through moves, and it's like I think I was going to the bathroom while I was doing it, because that's the only time you are private by yourself, because everyone else, we're so crammed in. These camps aren't big. They kind of make it look like we have a little bit of room to work with, but no, like we're having conversations literally basically next to each other. And like, so it's hard to kind of get your own like mindset.
Oh, especially my original camp, and then the camp that I swapped to, like with you guys, is because it was like when it gets cut off, like you can't even walk like on the cornfield. It was so jammed. Oh
yeah, that camp looks really that camp is really small, because that's where we ended up with that swap. So yeah, like you're saying, that was a bad camp.
Yeah, no, like, and when like they showed some footage of you, you're stuck between 3 conversations, Janaki. You're like, I don't know where to go. I can't do anything.
I thought I was going to go home, because there was conversations to my left, there were conversations to my right. No one was talking to me. I felt so trapped. I felt so alone. I honestly, because I was just tossed over into this new tribe.
Your boy was doing work for you, and he had it covered.
Yeah, it was so hard. It was so hard for me to start the game out there, especially for like guys. Like the excuse was, "Oh, I'm gonna go walk to the porta potty," but like as a guy, like, why don't you just go piss on the tree over there?
That's all
you know what I mean? Like, it was tough to come up with excuses. It was either you're going to the porta potty and you're taking your 400th crap, or you're collecting thousands of twigs every. You know.
So Rob, walk us through that. Like, you come back from exile. Talk to us a little about exile. How fun was that? Like, you got sent there. Bad. Like, you're the only one holding up this black buff.
It was, when I pulled out the black buff, I was looking around. Obviously, I looked at Barris's buff and Josh's buff. I felt those were my 2 biggest allies. I looked at all my Red Tribes buffs, and I was like, oh, none of them are black. And then I looked over at your guys' I was like, what is going on? And then I realized, like, I'm in exile. And at first I was like, I was pretty bummed out about it. But at the same time, I'm a huge fan of the show. So I was like, there's probably an idol there, which is pretty exciting. And I'll be safe. I'll be safe another round plus my advantage. So it was exciting, and they took me out on the golf cart there. I read the clue. The clue like totally threw me off. Like the clue was like said something about climb high or low. So instantly, like I want to climb the tree. Like that's just like my personality to climb as high as possible. And I climbed super high, and I like find like this huge hole in the tree. Just convinced it's up there. It's not up there. Looking around forever. Go to the base of the tree. It's sitting right in the base. So I didn't even need to climb it.
You didn't need to climb the tree.
Yeah, I didn't need to climb it at all.
So, Rob, do you feel that when you went to Exile, you're safe, you know, to the merge as far as travels, but did you feel that put even a bigger target on your back by having you go out there? Like, did you have some like regret? Like, did you maybe ever think like, because did you tell anybody that you got an idol? Did you end up telling Josh you got an idol?
I told Josh and Maris.
Yeah, they got an idol at Exile.
Yeah.
But so, you know, in your opinion, do you think it was a good idea that you, out of your original Calhoun, was the one that got to go out of everybody out there to Exile?
I mean, I think it put a bigger target on me, but to be honest, I was so Red Tribe strong, I would have been fine with anyone from my original tribe going out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then,
I shared about it like in my confessional, like I'm a super loyal player, and I am like and would have not been against having to use that idol on someone else too, for sure.
Yeah. So then, like, walk us through that. Like your mindset. You're done with Exile. You come back. You walk into this tribal council. You don't know what to expect. All of a sudden, you see Janaki walk in instead of the girl Maris. So right there's got to be a question mark.
Well, yeah, I was super pumped at first because like I was at the whole time first of all I was sitting at Exile, and there's like not much shade, so I'm just baking alive, and I like there by myself, and I can like hear you guys like celebrating the challenge. I'm just all lonely hearing you guys celebrate the challenge, trying to figure out which tribe won. But yeah, I come back to the challenge, and then I see Maris isn't there, so I was super and I saw Janaki was there, and then all of a sudden this crazy I was pissed at Brandon because I knew like my reactions were amazing. I wish they showed my reactions more in the episode. But yeah, that was an epic tribal. Shout out Andy, good idol play.
I remember that moment. It was almost like having a little bit of like PTSD, because like it brought back so many things of that day, because we felt, Charlie and Andy, I mean, you guys kind of told me like, it's not going to be you. Like, you're safe. It's either Andy or myself that is going, you know? But just that scrambling that was going on that day. I mean, just because we didn't know where anyone's head was at, you know, we've got 4 people that are on the Black Tribe, you know, it's a scary thing. They literally could have just picked us off one by one. But Charlie, question for you. Can you talk to us about your awesome idol that you made?
So bringing it back to like when we have to check in, we get our bags checked. So just we can put this out there in clear code. I had a keychain that was hanging off my bag that I will admit I put there, and I was like in my head like, hey, if it gets taken, it gets taken. But if it doesn't get taken, I'm gonna bluff with this maybe sometime where do whatever I can with it. So 100%, I will say it was planned to be used exactly how it was going to be used. So yes, you can doubt me if they're not. For any future contestants, there's now a fake idol rule. So you can't get away with this again. So sorry, it's called the Charlie rule. So I apologize.
Way to go. You ruined it for them.
Yeah, sorry. But so I had that keychain hanging off my bag. It got through our check. Everything was hunky dory. Immediately pocketed it. And I knew I was like, and Jenny can kind of maybe attest this. I was searching so hard in our first camp to try and find this idol, because I'm like, if I have that, I can just bluff it with the paperwork, give it to someone else, and I'll be totally like sky free. Andy found it and told everyone. Like he probably said it so loudly, I thought the other tribes heard that he had it. It was like, bless the guy's heart. He was super happy and excited to have it, but like he told literally the entire world. But I was like, yeah, all right, dude. So I was like, okay, cool. So like Rob said, boys will be boys. Let's go to the porta potty together, buddy. So we head that way. I'm like, hey, let me get your paperwork real quick. And this is before the swap even happened. And he's like, cool. when the swap happens, I get with Andy. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, at least I know immediately my wheels started turning. I'm like, I have this number. And I'm like, and Maris is by herself. I have to use her. So I'm like, this is going to happen. And to my credit, I've been trying to babyface the other tribes. And I told even Rob, as I was walking in for the challenge, I'm like, help me. I wanted everyone to know that I'm on the bottom of the tribe. I was like, I didn't know what happened to the Daniel vote. I had no idea. Like, it's not me. It's like, it's these
So
old
mad about
that. These old people over here just running the show. I had nothing to do with it. And to my credit, Corey ate that up. He told me immediately when I got over there, he's like, dude, like, you look like you were lost over there. Like, we knew that we wanted you on our tribe and stuff. And I'm like, he's like, let's work together. I'm like, okay, cool. And so that kind of like set the stage for it. And when we're walking into our next challenge, even before like we knew an advantage was going to happen there, I started talking to Maris and I'm like, hey, how you feeling? And she's like, I'm worried. Like, I'm the easiest vote here. I'm like, I'm going to like, trust me. Like, if you legitimately want to survive this sky free, just trust me with this. And I'll like tell you some stuff. And so as we're walking, I'm like, I'm giving her the entire play-by-play. I'm like, Andy's got an idol. He's going to play it. I have a fake one. I'm going to bluff them. I'm going to try and put all the votes to Andy and then just vote Andy. It won't be you. You won't even have to get your hands dirty or anything. Like, just act like you're going home and this will work out. And she's like, I don't know if she would have burned me because I didn't really know Maris at that time. And from that last episode, she seems a little more sneaky than I probably gave her.
A little bit more sneaky, Maris.
So,
but
so I don't know if she might have burned me, but apparently she immediately went to tell other people that Andy had an idol anyway. So cool. But so that's kind of where it started. And then when you came over, I was like, my girl's here, cakewalk, let's do this. Like, because I had this great confessional that I didn't make it in. And I'm like, Janiky's my number one girl because like no matter what lunacy plan I come up with, she's just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, come on, let's whatever. We're bored. Let's do something. So
you know, that's the thing. Since day one, since like the little picnic that we had before the game really started, you know, I approached you because you had I will never forget this. You had a CCM hat on. If you were wearing a CCM hat, you are definitely a hockey player. And I said to you play hockey. I love your hat. And literally, you have been my day one since.
Oh yeah, that's why you guys bonded so well.
Yeah, so like every vote that we have done together, we have done it together. So I mean, I mean, you have literally been my day.
Yeah, one. No, and like so when you got over there, it was like I'm like, okay, I was like, look, I know you're probably panicking. I was like, take a second, breathe. We're okay. And I just was like, I'm like, and then like, the only thing we didn't really talk about is the actual vote is we just assumed Corey. I don't think we ever like even thought about anybody else.
Mm-mm.
I
don't remember. Yeah. And I don't remember having a conversation where we're like, we're going to vote Corey, you know, versus like maybe Brian or Sandy. Like, I think it was just like Corey kind of thing. And then we just,
I think it was just like
trusting your gut that it was literally trusting my gut that Andy was going to throw the vote at Corey as well. So
yeah, did you imagine if like he threw it on someone else and they like he idols it? It's just like Corey and like Brian all of a sudden just go up next to each other. Oh, no. So I mean, that happened. So the fake idol got played. They kind of like the episode's a little misleading. It got played basically out even before you were there. So I already gave Corey like immediately when I got there. We went off that one kind of private area in that camp that's off to the side there. I only wanted to talk to him. And then Brian came into the conversation. So I'm like, great, now I have to try and lie to two people instead of just one. And Brian, like I could never get a read off him ever. So I didn't really know how this was gonna go. But Corey, I could kind of feel it off a little bit. So I got the vibe that he was like, okay, trusting and stuff. And the way I sealed it with him, he told me a story about one of his tattoos that he did pinky promise on a pizza for one of his buddies, and that's what he got like a tattoo for. So that if you rewatch it, you'll see me like I'll be like pinky promise on a pizza, like give him that extra trust, like, hey, I'm involved with you, like I have some personal attachment to who you are as a person, so kind of like let's do this. And I think like that kind of sealed it. But that's also what I was scared about is I knew it was either I was sealing my own fate, and he was going to get greedy, which he almost did, and send me home for an idol that didn't even work. And I would have gone home because I bluffed him with something, which I was super scared about. And like my emotion in that tribal was real. I was seriously freaking out because I had no idea what was going to go on. I'm like, and I'm the truth. I'm like, it's either Andy or it's me. Like it's 100%. That's how it's going to work. Because either they got greedy or send me home, or Andy's actually going to play this, and this is going to look epic. And thankfully, like and that is not edited for dramatic effect. Andy took years off my life waiting for him to stand up to play his idol. And I think Brandon may have gotten told, hey, there might be an idol play, and waited for it. But good Lord, I had a heart attack. So I'm like, do it. Come on, stand up. Stand up, please. Stand up, please, please. And he's just like not moving.
Yeah, that was so fun for me to just come into that, not having any idea what was going on.
Yeah, what were your thoughts? Like,
I
mean,
no,
were you just so confused?
Well, I was so confused, first of all, that you were there.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? What is going on? And then Idol's getting played. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, I was not happy with that trade. I mean, it was. I wasn't happy, but I was happy because I was back with Charlie, because that's who I wanted to be with. I was so nervous because I knew Paula was still upset with me for that Daniel vote, and then I knew Stephanie was kind of upset with Paula because Paula had voted for Stephanie. So I'm like, I just kind of need a fresh start. So it was kind of nice to kind of get out of that situation. But
I think Josh kind of messed up too, and he touched on it a little bit in a confessional in the last episode, switching you instead of Paula or Caitlin, who have the advantage. Because if they would have voted out Stephanie, if they lose 2 challenges in a row, they vote out Stephanie, and then they have to. My Red Tribe Calhoun has to go against each other.
Yeah.
If he would have switched Caitlin, that would have been game over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, there's nothing like that's literally it, because it's black. We'll literally just coast to it. So, but so at this point in the game, who are you most worried about as a different player? So who are you concerned?
Who am I most worried about is what?
Like as a combatant, I don't know how to freaking, like as another player in the game, who concerns you the most at this point? You're like, I might have to get this person out sooner than later. I'll go first on this because I had no idea where he was at. I was super scared of Josh just because every interaction I had with him, super charming dude, like 7 feet tall, like just absolute monster of a human being, just like heart melting smile, just like grins at you, and you're like, oh, okay, buddy, what do you want from me? And just super charismatic, and he just seemed like he kind of had confidence in his game, just the way he carried himself. And I had no idea where he's at, and that scared the life out of me because I kind of like to know what everything's going on as much as possible. So I was super concerned with him, and especially knowing then at that point when Robb went to exile that Robb was guaranteed at least 2 more tribals, that he's completely safe and untouched. And our math that we were already talking about at that point, we thought that's probably where the merge would happen, one of those 2 next ones. So I'm like, okay, he's golden there. If we lose 1 or 2, Red's here, like Mille Lacs is here, like we're screwed on numbers wise. And I'm like, I had no idea how to approach him. I thought it was just going to be Josh and Robb just coasting for it then to the end. And that's kind of like where I got scared horrifically about.
I would have to say Caitlin. When I was on a tribe with Caitlin for a little bit before I got swapped, and I had conversations with everybody, but I didn't have as many conversations with her as I like, even though she was safe. But even though she was safe, it still worried me because she was so quiet. And so sometimes the quietest people make the biggest move. Sometimes they do the most damage. You know what I mean? So it scared me a little bit, and it scared me because she wasn't having those conversations with me. So it made me paranoid, thinking, is she coming after me when she has the chance? So, you know, like if you're not having those conversations with those people, what are they maybe saying about you? So I would have to say Caitlin, kind of. I was worried about her. She scared me a little.
I think now that I think about it, it took me a second to think about it. Now that I think about it, I think for me, it was probably, you and Charlie, you and Andy, just because like me coming from Exile Island and seeing like this huge successful idol play, like that's a pretty big move. And then like talking to you and like instantly after tribal, I remember like talking to you and you're like all over the place about like fake idols and like your team and all this crap. And I was like, this dude is a player. This dude is a player. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to decide because Janaki and I met the year prior. So I was trying to decide whether should I like. I knew I wasn't going to do anything to her, and I was trying to decide whether, like that's like yeah. I'm stuck in the middle here. So I'm trying to decide whether like can I trust you or like I said like I felt like I had good vibes with Sandy at the social, and then I got off too with Brian. So like that's where I was like in coming back from Exile Island. So
Just a wild trip.
yeah.
So how are you preparing for the upcoming merge? Like, what are you doing to prepare for this upcoming merge that's happening?
At this point, for me personally, what my goal was I was in the middle with the original Blue Tribe and the original Black Tribe, and what I wanted to do was make sure that my whole Calhoun tribe was safe. At this point, I didn't know that Danny was gone, but I wanted to make sure that Calhoun and Black Tribe or Blue Tribe were able to get together and go towards merge, because I think we were all assuming that merge is either next or 2 tribals from now, right?
Yeah,
we thought it was the next 2
coming up soon, and I think for me, like my mindset was just to get back with the hope was to just get back with the blue, because there were still so many conversations that still needed to happen. And and just kind of seeing, because when your tribes are split, there's other relationships that are being built, and so you want to have those conversations when you have the chance to get back with them, being like, okay, what's the deal, like who are you good with over there, I'll tell you who I'm good with over here. So in my mindset, it was just really having, I want the Blue Tribe to be back together again and to just kind of feel more comfortable, have that a little bit of that security.
Yeah, absolutely. Being back with your original tribe. Yeah, that was my mindset too. Being back with your original tribe and trying. I just wanted to decide my original tribe, and either blue or black. I wanted to link those up and then just pick people off and battle it out from there. That was my goal. But I knew that was tough because what I thought at this point in the game, I thought like that's still going to be tough because Calhoun, I think my Calhoun tribe had the most people left in the game at that point, we thought. Yeah.
Because you didn't know Danny was gone yet.
Yeah, I didn't know Danny was gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the complete opposite thought because I was going like, I'm burning all bridges. Let's make new relationship. Let's just go on from there. And that's kind of where Rob and I completely drastically went different routes, because I remember right after you got back from like Danny, like the last challenge we just did, I remember we had side conversations and we were talking about it was Brian and I were talking about Rob, you and your allegiance with your Calhoun, and like he was kind of wary about it, and I was trying to capitalize that as much as possible. But then I realized after I had the full length conversation about, he's just staying loyal to his crew, like that's not really fair. He's on this tribe right now. How does that benefit us? Then like we did like at that point, I don't know why we had like a 5-minute conversation. Then it didn't even come to our heads like, oh, Rob's safe. We can't do anything about it if we wanted to. So we had a worthless conversation. And I think once it came to the realization that you were safe, then it became like, oh, well, now Rob is the swing vote. Now it's straight between 2 tribes. So
yeah, that's why it like felt good for me. I was like, oh, I can become the captain of like my Calhoun tribe and just spend this time taking advantage of this advantage and like build connections with either blue or black connect at the upcoming merge and build this alliance that's majority. So stay tuned and find out who I side with.
Well, going to a personal question here. A viewer asked, "Who is Rob, and when can I date him?"
Well, hi, I'm Rob.
Well, Rob, is there any like Twitter handle, Instagram page this person can go flaunt and maybe fulfill their fantasies that way? Anything like that?
You can give them my information and have them slide in. Charlie.
Rob likes to take long walks on the beach.
If you give him a Minnesota hat, he might feel proud of you. So maybe that's the way to start. Let's start with the old Vikings.
Oh gosh.
But kind of keeping on that kind of like silly topic there. Who is your favorite member of production?
Not random.
Production all does. I feel like production all did like amazing job. Like Janiky's already touched on like the editing and like just the quality of this season in general. But I'll give it's my buddy Sean's birthday today, so I'll give Sean a shout out. Happy birthday, Sean! I love you, buddy.
Happy birthday, Sean. You know,
we butt heads all the time. Happy birthday, Sean! You're my favorite. You bonded with Red Tribe. You were basically a part of Red Tribe.
You know, something about Sean though too, I just want to say is again, happy birthday, Sean. Hope you're having a great day. But with Sean, you know, he does a lot of the casting portion of it, and he does such an amazing job of, you know, putting the cast together and really picking, a great selection of people, you know, who are really going to just fight through, you know, this crazy game of Survivor. So he really does an amazing job. You know, as far as the people that were out there in the beating hot sun, holding the cameras, like everyone did so amazing, you know, standing in the woods with us, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes while we just sit there and talk because we're losing our minds, you know. None of them had to do it, but, you know, they all chose to do it. And just for that, I mean,
really slept in the dirt with us.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is so amazing. Yeah. And it's just, it's crazy, you know, when being up, you know, so late at the middle of the night with us as well, trying to record and get footage. I mean, that's amazing, you know, so.
Some behind the scenes footage. Sean stayed up with the whole Red Tribe, but, had a little bit too much to drink and ended up being the only one to pass out.
That's so funny.
Oh, Sean, the love, man. Again, Sean, happy birthday, buddy. Again, hope you're having a great day. And kind of what Janaki said, casting is a very fickle beast, and you have to have a very specific personality to be able to kind of get people out of their shell, and you could not have chosen a better person to be that.
Yeah.
If you've ever been around Sean, he has an infectious personality. His people will make you lose your mind. He's just one of those people you can't help but grin around him because you know something's either going to be funny, entertaining, or just off the wall. So shout out to you, buddy.
You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Yeah, right. You never know anything. To that extent, I'm going to give a shout out to the original flag holders because I got a hug before we got 10. So I don't remember who the three girls were, but I was like, I remember I was talking I think it was either you, Janaki, or her, like Paul. I'm like, I'm going to go get a hug. I want to get some perks out of this
I think it was Serena one of them?
Yes, and Brandon's sister, I think, was one.
Serena, Brandon's sister, I think Alex's sister, and Ellie were the flag holders.
Yeah, so I was like, doesn't matter what flag I'm getting one from one of them, so we'll figure this out here.
Yeah, it was like
flag holders.
They're all beautiful girls, and they bring out it was like a boxing match where they bring.
Yeah, oh my God. Well, here you go.
Oh gosh.
So kind of we'll do these kind of in like two parts here. Of the cast, who is surprising you most on their gameplay? And then who do you think is most underestimated so far?
As far as the underestimated, I'm going to save my answer on that one just because I feel like that's a question that I want to answer when the season's over. Not because it may be someone still in the game. It could be someone who's out and outcast. I just want to wait till the season's over for that one. Are just my thoughts. I think right now it's just too early to answer that one.
I think for underestimated for me, I think Katie Meyer on my tribe. I think I really underestimated her, and it's been like showing throughout the season in her confessionals. Katie Meyer, and I would say Maris, but like her and I were like super close, and we like talked a lot about strategy. So like I didn't really I don't know if I underestimated her because I knew she was a player too. But like Katie, we didn't have like as in depth strategic talks, but like I feel looking back, like
yeah, I'm gonna kind of agree with you on that. As far as underestimated, I can't say Katie Meyer because I never played with her to this point, so I don't know. But as far as like impressing me with her gameplay, she takes the cake because like watching her like play and everything, and like hearing that she's in these conversations doing her thing, I was like, okay, cool, because she was a non-factor in my mind at this point of the game. I was like, I didn't know who she was. I thought she was one of Robb's pawns, so I was like, okay, cool. And then to find out that no, she's like dictating kind of how things are going. As far as underestimated, Katie McPhail, 100%. That girl was the only one that like saw through my entire facade and just crushed me. So, and
same here, Charlie.
meanwhile, I'm sitting here like thinking like this girl's a lunatic. Like I'm like she doesn't know. I'm like because I knew what she was doing. I didn't think that she was so in tune to what I was doing because I knew she was trying to like feed us cracks and be like play with me. Like I'm like all you're doing is trying to get information, go back to your buddies, and then tell them exactly what's going on. And I almost called her out on it, but I was still trying to play nice with her because I didn't know who she was, kind of. Because at that point, I thought her and Sandy were kind of the same personality type, just this very bubbly, sweet, genuine people. But no, she's a stone cold killer apparently, and just didn't like, have anything to go on with it.
Professionals are off the charts.
She
is like Natalie Bolton in Micronesia.
Yeah.
One thing about Katie McPhail is I love her to death. Just don't ever go and play laser tag with her because she's going to kick your ass in laser tag.
Yeah, she absolutely
she annihilates you in like by 1,000 points in laser tag. It was at one point, it was like 5 versus Katie McPhail.
Like, what? How did she do like a super ninja laser tag?
Oh man. But I will mention something though about Katie Meyer. She killed that balance beam challenge. Like she made it so easy to run over.
Yeah, Charlie pointed that out too in our Live to Give alumni page. I thought the same thing. She looked really good.
Yeah.
But everyone else is like falling over. I eat it, which unfortunately, like we found the footage like after the edit came out. I dive. I like take a header off the thing.
I was so bummed I didn't get to participate in that challenge.
It looked like it wasn't as fun as it looked. I'll be honest. Especially when it came down to one ball versus one ball, and you're freaking out because you have no control over the situation, and you're like, "Oh."
That's true. I think one other person I want to mention for underestimating, I think, was Caitlin. I didn't get to play with her. At this point in the game, I didn't get swapped with her, and I like from talking to her at social and just like sizing her up, I just underestimated her. But looking back on the season, like I'm really impressed. Last episode, like I've talked a lot about how like tight Calhoun was, and like we like preached like we're a family, we're gonna stick together. Like we preached that, and it was like really impressed. It really impressed me that she was able to plan that out with Kate to blindside Danny. That was really impressive.
That was awesome. All right, so kind of keeping the like ego stroking going here. Which 3 players besides yourself, mind you, so you can't say yourself, you can say anyone else in the chat. Hint, hint. Which 3 players besides yourself would you think deserves an all-star spot at this point of the game?
I think both of you guys deserve an all-star spot, but I'm not going to say you guys because I want to give other people shout-outs. But both of you guys deserve spots for sure. I think I just touched on them. I think Caitlin deserves one for sure. At this point in the game, I think I'm just going to go off at this point in the game for who I think deserves an all-star spot. And I want to say Caitlin, and then I think I don't know. Josh, maybe just Josh like running for that advantage. That takes some balls and getting that advantage. And Josh, like, I know from talking to him and like him being my ride or die, I think he knows what it takes to be an all-star player.
Yeah, I agree with Rob. I think you both, deserve a spot in the all-star position. I would have to say that I think Stephanie would, just because I think that she does have what it takes to make moves, and I think
she fought from the bottom.
She fought from the bottom, and she has survived multiple tribal councils to this point. So I feel that she has it in her to come back and play another season. So I'd have to say Stephanie.
I think by that standard, if Stephanie were to come back, she probably would do the best out of any returnee that you could probably put a name up to, because she could play almost identically the same game and do
just
as well. Yeah, just as well. So, where side notes, I don't think any one of us could play the exact same game and get away with anything the same way we did.
At this point in the game too, I think Katie and Maris are two names that would be good too.
I mean, to narrow it down to 3, it sounds like we're trying to be like, oh, like we love everybody again, but like it is true. Our casting was impeccable. We had a bunch of good game players, a lot of fans of the show, so we all kind of wanted to play and play our own way.
Like,
and
it was already our season in itself.
Yeah.
Like I'm not stroking people's egos here, saying like basically like I could honestly like say some positive things like gameplay wise about pretty much everyone on this cast. True, like all super fans of the show, and like this season is so good because we all like love the game, like are smart people, and like really came to play and hit the ground running, and it shows.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, we all like decided like we're gonna go for it, and I think we all just put it in that extra gear, and we decided, hey, we're all just gonna play, and it like we sent even some of the players that are on Outcast right now are like they're great players too, so it's like you can start a own like season with just them too, so it's incredible.
Corey got third on Amazing Race. McCray got third on Amazing Race, like, and we sent them home.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have included my confessional for McCray. I was like so cocky about it. I was like, "Add this to my resume."
Oh man!
Well, and that's the thing. Coming into the game, I knew that we had 2 players who have already been on reality TV, and in my mind, I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is so fun! Get to play with someone who's on reality TV." But once the game started, I was like, "I don't want to play with these people. I want to get them out." Like, I want to create a resume that says, I just took out a reality star. Come at me now.
I felt the same way. And honestly, though, looking back, like, that's one of my regrets in the game is taking out McCray. Because I think he would have been loyal.
Yeah.
So sorry, McCray, if you watch this. Like, I think that's actually one of the questions is like, what's your
I was just like, why don't you keep going on that? It's kind of a 2-parter. It's like, one was what was your biggest gameplay mistake, and looking back, what would you have changed? So you just kind of touched based on that. Like you would change the McCray vote.
Yeah, my biggest regret would be taking out McCray, and I think that goes off of me really underestimating Katie Meyer, and what Janaki said is like, I'm playing Live to Give. I don't want a reality star to be able to say they got me. Like, I want to say, like, I got them.
Yeah. I want to go back and talk about Jordan a little bit. I mean, her circumstances were very understandable. Like, we were very more willing to, do her wishes, that she asked to leave, and that's fine. But part of me, and I know, Charlie, I think you and I had a conversation with Stephanie, but we did not want to vote Jordan out. We really didn't. And I feel like if we would have kept Jordan, I feel like this game would have been a lot different to where we are now. I think Jordan would have been a big player. I think she would have been very loyal. And I think we would have been able to do some really great things. So I can't really say what my biggest regret is yet, because, again, that's a question I want to answer at the end of the season. But for now, I want to just say that I think that we should have kept Jordan, because I think we could have done a lot of great things with her.
Yeah, I will like kind of take that out like to another level too. Like I 100% was not on board voting Jordan, and I had to bite it for the numbers. The first vote, I did not want her going home, and I almost was like, I like again, it's like an outside level game situation, and like that's when I took a step back. I'm like, okay, like I get it. I have a gameplay mindset, then I have like I'm a human person. Like I get it. Like for a lot of people that are watching, I'm not that much of a kind of like a dick in person. Just as a heads up, I'm a pretty nice guy for the most part.
Charlie's the man. Charlie's the man. He's
like
evil,
I flared up.
Be in the game, but he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I flare it up for the cameras a lot because like I feel like we're out here. Let's have some fun. I'm gonna say some things that like will make some people uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, like that's when I was thinking about that mindset because that was our very first vote, our first night out there. We're going. I'm going hard. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I'm like, no, this is my first thing I'm gonna do. This girl wants to go home. Absolutely, she's not going home because she wants to. No, it's my wish if she goes home. And then I'm like, back, and I'm like, no, that's actually not how this goes. Like this is like someone is sick. And, like this is like a situation. Like let's do that. But I 100% agree because like if she wouldn't go home, Andy would have gone home night one, and then it probably would have been Steph, depending how it would have gone. But actually, no, it might have been Daniel too. I mean, like I said, the scenarios could be endless at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as biggest gameplay mistake, it goes down to what I kind of just touched base. I flared up a lot for the cameras, and I kind of got caught up in things that I was doing instead of keeping my composure and keeping that charming Charlie persona that I try to pitch to people. And I got kind of overconfident, I think, a little bit in what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my biggest like gameplay mistake because I started getting like involved into myself too much instead of realizing that this isn't just my show and like it's an actual like we're doing a game thing again. So coming back to that. But
yeah, and I think again, I want to touch about my biggest downfall after the season. But I think up to this point is having more conversations. I think that when I noticed that people were having conversations to my left and my right, don't just stand there in the middle and cry because I'm alone. I need to get into those. I need to find a way to get myself into those conversations, because by me standing there alone, that puts a target on my back, because then people are going like, she's not talking to anybody. Like, that's an easy target right there. So my biggest downfall is to be more involved in those conversations that you're not already a part of. Whether you just talked to that person 2 seconds ago, just to go do it. And that's something that I found out once I was swapped, over, that I just kind of, because I was just thrown over to a new tribe, that I just kind of let things be, and versus being like, I need to build these relationships with these people that I don't know and haven't been with, versus just kind of standing back. Because I did at that time kind of really rely on you and Andy, because you had already been over there, and just kind of taking your word, where I need to involve myself even more, with Brian and Sandy and, McPhail and stuff. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. So tying into that, did you guys expect to make it this far in the game?
No.
Rob, I would say yes, because like you probably should have made it this far immediately. Because
yeah, I mean that's easy for me with the advantage, but at the same time, going into the game, like before I even knew like I officially had the advantage, I kind of expected that, just because I take pride in like my social abilities, and then like I feel like I can help tribes like physically as well. So I was kind of confident in staying in the game early to help my tribe, and like socially. The thing that I was most worried about is at this point in the game, the impending merge coming. Like I was like one of the main physical threats, and was tough. And going to Exile Island,
I definitely didn't. And that kind of reflects more, I've played an online game before, maybe 2 or 3. And in those games, I've been either a first boot, a third boot, or even a fourth boot. So coming into this game, I already have this mindset that I'm a terrible player. Like I'm going to be an easy vote off. But I had to really step back and like say, this is a fresh start. You're not playing in front of a computer screen. You're playing in life, in real life with people face to face. And so it was easy to have those conversations. It was easier to notice when someone was talking behind you, because on a computer screen, you don't know what's going on. You got screenshots going on, like all that stuff. So I kind of doubted myself coming in thinking that I'm going to be an easy out. But being as far as we are now into the season, it's really fun to watch back to see the progress that I've made from day one to where we are now. And that I do have potential to be a great social player and to make big moves. So I'm proud of myself,
Yeah, Janaki.
Yeah. Well, anyone that thinks you're a terrible player should really reconsider any kind of erroneous statement like that, because clearly we beyond proved them wrong on that aspect. So be proud of that. The far as like making it to this part of the game, I had no illusions of like where I would go with anything. So I think I touched base on a confessional too. Is like I always had a mindset of make this vote, make the next one, and so I had baby steps. I wanted to survive the first vote because that's terrifying. No one wants to be the first boot, like ever. So I was like, don't do that.
That was like my biggest fear.
So I was like, don't be the first boot. My second one was like the big ones was make it to a swap if there was one. Which like after there was 3 tribes, I'm like, there's got to be a swap. So I'm like, make the swap, survive that first initial swap vote, and then get to merge. Those are my goals like going into the game, and then at that point, anything else is a bonus. So I was happy with it, and at this point, I'm enjoying it. I think I'm doing everything what I can in my power. So I was excited. Like I said, the weekend goes by so quickly too that like you get caught up in everything. So it's just so fun.
No doubt.
What
do you guys think of doing? Like, you guys want to do like just like a couple more questions, and then like we can do like another one episode on Sunday?
Yeah, we can do that because like I said, we're like halfway through these.
Let's do that.
Yeah, you guys crushed these question comment phrase.
Thank you guys. These are all great questions.
These are awesome questions.
Yeah, and it's fun for us to go back and talk about it.
Yeah, like it's fun and like PTSD. Like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we'll just kind of go to like kind of generic questions. Who do you think would do best on the actual show?
Between like the 3 of us or the whole cast?
The whole cast. Like if you were to be like, if they came to us and like said vote one person from the Live to Give season 3 in Hanover Hilltop onto the season, who do you think like, okay, that person's gonna do the best? You can vote for yourself too if you want to.
Well, first I just want to make a comment. I feel like if like with Corey and McCray already being reality stars, I could see them taking them. So if I'm just gonna minus them out of the equation, like
that's what I instantly think of them like being great, but just because like obviously they're like so emotionally like just like appealing, like that like those 2 would obviously be really good. Mm-hmm. So I would say them, but let's not go them right now.
I don't know. I would want to say like maybe Brian. I think he just has that natural kind of look. Like when I look at them and they cast their men cast, like I feel like Brian is someone that would just fit in so easily to what they're looking for. I could definitely see them handpicking. He is a high school teacher, He's married with kids, so I feel like he's got, that typical, here's a dad, here's a teacher. You'd be great to be cast on the show. I don't know.
I think I'm going to name 2 people. I'm going to name a male, female. So my guy is Brian as well. I think He's a really good social player. I meet with him at this here. He's a good strategic player, but he's good at like downplaying it and being like super chill. And then he is a good physical player as well. Like he's a coach for a baseball team, all this, but he doesn't like, I'm not saying like he's like looks unathletic or anything like that, but he's not like
he's not a bodybuilder.
Like, yeah, you don't look at him and say like you're a target. Like that's what I was worried about with me. Like there's not, yeah. So like, not to sound like arrogant, but like, yeah, with Brian, I think like he just is like the ultimate package for those three things, and I think he would be a really great fit for the show. And I could like totally see him. Like you touch on like the teacher thing, like it just like screams like someone Survivor would cast. And then for female, I think I would say Caitlin. Like I said, I underestimated her big time to start, but she is a sweetheart. Like she's a really good social person. She's really appealing. She's fine at challenges. She's good at challenges. She's a good physical player. She's super smart, and she's clear, as shown in the last episode, she's strategic as well. She broke apart the Red Tribe family, which I thought was unbreakable. But
and she's also somebody that, you know, she gets on the real show. She's someone that's going to be at least to the family visit. You know what I mean? So she'd go far. People would just be drawn to her and want to work with her. And I think she's so nice and kind. And I think that she's someone that would go really far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, besides the two of you, because I could both watch both of you do very well on the show.
Yeah, you guys do. I don't want to talk about us.
No, I'm just saying, like,
hey, this is our show now.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna throw the kind of same thing Rob did, do a male and a female. And I'm gonna throw some wild cards at you. My female first, and I'll back it up. 100% Rachel, because
yeah,
I love her on a TV show. Are you kidding me? Like the things that came out of her mouth.
She would be great TV.
Yeah.
The things she would be that person, kind of like I can't remember her name. I think Abby, or it was like a Brazilian girl that was on Survivor.
Yeah, Abby.
Yeah, that's kind of the person's vibe that I got from her after like talking to her. Like she'd be this great little like thing that would just go along. They would never vote her out because like, hey, like she's gonna be there. So I think she would have a good ride on the show. And male, I would actually kind of tie into that same aspect, and I'm gonna do Daniel from Itasca that went home early. So Daniel S, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like Ken Barbie doll.
Yeah, little like tiny Leo clone. Perfect aesthetic. Division I athlete too, right? Like he didn't he play? I think he played college something. That might be not D1. I don't know. It might be
baseball.
But yeah, I think he played baseball in college. So athletic. I mean, the kid had a brain on him. He just trusted the wrong people. I mean, sorry, but I think he would do really well if he
if he wasn't on a tribe with Charlie, I could totally see him making the merge and possibly deep in the game. He was actually something that I wanted to meet on after the social.
Yeah. So yeah, I think both of those people. I mean, I think their lives on our show weren't as long as I think they probably deserved, but I think at like the actual like network show as a TV thing, I think they would both strive in that setting as well. Yeah, two clowns.
We do one more question.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one last one to wrap it up here.
Here, let's do a question for his birthday.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up in Messenger quick. It's his birthday, so we'll do one of Sean. Let's see where it is here. Okay, so Sean, he sent two questions, but we'll just ask one. He said, knowing what you guys know now, what would have been your ideal initial tribes? Who would you have wanted on them and would you have liked another camp, or would you have stuck with the one you had?
Ooh, I definitely know I would want to keep our camp. I think Itasca had the nicest camp out of all three. I mean, our camp where we slept was completely separated from where we got our wood and, where the, idol was hidden. So, and the bugs weren't bad at all, we had nothing. And the only thing was it got cold at night, so I would definitely choose the Itasca camp over any of those camps.
For the camp, like clearly my camp was the worst, but like I would keep that camp just because like I just valued my experience so much and like absolutely loved that first night. We had so much fun with Calhoun and then drunk Sean too.
Camp wise, 100% with Janaki and X. I loved Itasca's camp. It had like.
Did you have the tent?
No, we didn't have the tent. Mille Lacs had the tent, but like, I just didn't like. We didn't like. We ended up seeing that camp later, like afterwards, and I'm like, I'm still like mine, like because we had like everything we needed. We had a nice open area, people could like walk around, get in the sun, and we had a giant shaded area, and then places you could hide from people from site to have conversations. And you had to walk a mile basically to go to the bathroom if you needed to. So then you're now it became a thinking game. Do I risk walking 15 minutes down the road to try and do something while other people are talking? Like, I don't know. I enjoyed that a lot. As far as people, this is the start off the game.
Name 6 other people besides yourself because we started with 7 on each
Okay.
tribe.
Are we going with the same people that had their advantages too? This is like say the same setup. We just got to choose whoever we want on our tribe.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, cool. Then I would choose Caitlin as the person on my tribe with the advantage. Probably Steph, Daniel, McCrae. Oh my God. I'm pulling a Robb. I can't blank on her name.
Maris?
Yeah.
Pulling a Robb.
Maris and then Danny. That just went home. So that would be my 6.
I would pick Danny, Katie Meyer. I would, you know what? I'm gonna stick with Paula because Paula's a goat, and I would stick with Paula as the one with the advantage, and then I would choose to have Corey. I think it'd be fun to have Corey because I feel like I feel like Corey was pretty loyal. Like from what I've saw, like he was, up to when we voted him out, but I feel like that's a relationship that you can build easy. And then I would have to go with Brian, and then my last person would have to be probably Rachel. I think Rachel would be fun to kind of pull along with.
All right, for me, I would love to play with Paula, but if we're going with
Robb's gonna name his Calhoun tribe. He's gonna be saying Calhoun again. He's not gonna change a thing.
Yeah. Red strong.
If we're going with the theme where you can't have the advantage, yeah, it is honestly hard for me to not say Red Strong because I love the people. I honestly would definitely I would stick with my same red males, all my same red males. I love Danny, love McCrae, love Josh. I still talk to all those guys like a ton still. And then I'm gonna do all new females, knowing now how sneaky the females are. I would have loved to play with Caitlin. Like I've listed off like how impressed I am with Caitlin's gameplay. And then I need two more girls. Probably Sandy. I really connected with Sandy at the social. I really like Sandy a lot. And then one more girl. We'll say the lovely. We'll bring you on my tribe, Janaki.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping you were gonna say like McPhail.
Yeah.
I would have loved to play. I would have loved McPhail too.
My little Slayer. All right, with that, I'll show a little sneak peek of what we got going on for next season.
Oh, I didn't. What's sure.
And then, hey, question 2, I just got asked. When will people be able to watch this?
It'll be done probably and be uploaded Saturday before the episode.
Okay.
And then you guys want to do this again?
We can do it after next one.
What's that?
We can do it after next like Sunday if you guys want to, right? Like a recap. Huh?
Do it Sunday or Monday, whatever works.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this.
So this is the official voting urn for next season.
Oh, Brandon did send me pictures of that. It's got like the vibe. I love it.
Yeah. So you do not want to see your name in here until the end. With the questions. This is a heads up. But super cool. Just kind of the aesthetic you're going to be looking at for next season. So for all of you that are playing this next season, congratulations on being cast. Come ready to play. It is a absolute blast. And like we said before, leave no doubt. Just play with your gut, have some fun with it. But yeah, guys, stay tuned. We'll do the rest of your questions since I don't think even got to half of them. Again, I really appreciate all the help. We'll post another page, so if you guys have follow-up questions, we'll try and get to those too. But again, we apologize if we can't get them all. But we thank you all for watching. Keep sharing. Keep helping us like get it out there, because the more people that see it, the more people we get on board. And again, it's all for charity at the end of the day. Like, it is a fun game in between the two parts, but and it's for a great cause, and that's all what we are here for the beginning with. So the more we fish with more people, the more great things happen to great people. So
yeah, thanks so much for supporting and following our journeys. We really appreciate it. And like Charlie said, it's all for charity. So we appreciate your support. Make sure you click like and share the post so we can help this thing grow even bigger and get even more money out there for charity. Because that's at the end of the day, we get to play our game and be idiots and make fools of ourselves, but we get to do that and make money for charity, and that's what it's all about. So
yeah, and again, just like what they both said, piggyback off, thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts for just, watching this journey along with us. It's been so fun, and it's been fun for all of us to kind of go back, because there's been things that were said and done that maybe we forgot, and it's been fun to kind of rewatch that. And we love to hear your guys' input. We love to hear what you guys have to say. I love talking with people, and they're picking favorite cast members, and they're following along, and people are getting upset when people are getting voted off. So it's been so fun to watch with family, friends, and then even meeting new people through this as well. So again, like Rob said, share, like, help us spread the word. And again, by the end of the day, it's all about charity, because that's why we're here doing it. But when it's game time, it is game time. So again, thank you from the bottom of all our hearts.
But yeah, with that, guys, we'll talk to you again later. So stay tuned for the next.